these are not really related to the storyline at all. These are just kind of interesting things that Heinlein had to say about human culture. So one thing he says, this is on page 128, 129, he talks about flappers, and I think that's actually quite relevant to the current U.S. presidential election and all that coming up this year. He says that very important people always have a flapper. And what a flapper is it says here on 128, it says, the servant's duty was to flap the mouth and ears of his master with a bladder whenever, in the opinion of the servant, it was desirable for his master to speak or listen. Without the consent of his flapper, it was impossible to converse. Right? So these are people, and he on 129 he kind of lists who would be a flapper. So he says executive assistants, private secretaries, secretaries to private secretaries, press secretaries, receptionists, appointment clerks, etc. All were flappers, as each held arbitrary veto over communication from the outside. These webs of officials resulted in unofficials who flapped the great man without permission from official flappers, using social occasions or backdoor access or unlisted telephone numbers. These unofficials were called golfing companion, kitchen cabinet, lobbyist, elder statesman, 5%er, etc. So it's kind of funny, but I'll tell you what the point of all that is. So there are people, of course, you consider like White House press secretary. If you want, these are the people who would tell, so current President Barack Obama, these people would tell Obama when he should respond to something. And so they are flappers. They are Obama's flappers. They would tell an important person, like a presidential candidate or the current president or a celebrity, if they have these kinds of secretaries, they would watch the internet, so to speak, or watch the newspapers, and they would tell the VIP when they should respond to something. And so, in a sense, they have a control over when they respond. Now, someone like Donald Trump doesn't appear to have any kind of flappers. He seems to, like I heard just recently, there was some back and forth with him and the Pope. Donald Trump doesn't seem to have any flappers. But I think it's quite interesting how there are definitely people. There are a front line, even consider politicians, like even in Canada, certain MPs. All of them have secretaries, or all the ministers. They all have secretaries and people who read their emails. They don't read the emails. If you want to email an MP, you don't get them. You'll get their press secretary or their other secretaries. And these are the people who would then forward on. They make the decision. Interesting, not the MP. The servant, the secretary, makes a decision on what things get through, right? So these are the flappers. And then, of course, Heinlein talks about people who go past flappers. So someone is a golfing companion. Now they can talk to the VIP without not having to use a filter, not having to use secretaries because they're not there, or whatever the other examples, lobbyists, etc. These people can get access to these VIPs and don't have to go through the normal channels. And the normal channels of the flapper. So I thought that was an interesting take on kind of the sense, not really censorship, but more just the way that filters are used with VIPs and how the filters may actually be running the show.